When the movie came out, or was released by TriStar, and they gave it sort of a perfunctory release, they didn't really do very much in the way of supporting of it. Even the poster, which we've all gotten used to with the zombie, the zombie with the roses sitting behind the paint, even seems like it was kind of just thrown together. How did you feel when you saw what they were doing, and did you say anything to them, or were you already kind of concentrating on Monster Squad at that point?
Yeah, I was concentrating on Monster Squad, but I also want to go on record that I think I made a political mistake in making this picture, which was the end of the movie, for those of you who care, the end of the movie that you just saw is not my original intention for the end of the movie. It's a compromise that we tacked on after the fact. The original ending is that Detective Cameron's reanimated corpse walks out of his sorority, still smoldering, still with a cigarette in his mouth, and has clearly been creeped. He falls down, his head explodes, and we see a whole bunch of creeps slither under a wrought iron gate, and we boom up and we see a sign, Crest Ridge Cemetery, and we realize that the creeps are now going to impregnate any brain matter that they can possibly get their whatever they have, teeth, hands, and then we boom up and we see the spaceship from the beginning of the movie with a big Klieg light, because the aliens have come back to find the experiment. It's really cool.
Yes!
But when I showed it to the studio, the special effect wasn't finished. So you would see, when you see effects that aren't finished, there's light stains in them and there's miniatures. And this was pre-CGI, so this was real analog effects. And the studio didn't get it. They go, what is that? I said, well, read the script. It's the spaceship. And I started to get, what is it? You gave me the money to make the movie. I assume you know the story. At the end, the aliens come in and they go, I don't get it. There's a light stain. The effect's not finished. We have to do an optical matte shot. It doesn't make any sense. Change that. So I said, yikes, and kind of painted into a corner, came up with this zombie dog, which I loathe because it kind of destroys the whole movie. It's like, what's the point of our heroes succeeding if at the end of the day they're just going to get creeped up by this dog? So it is my dream, and Mr. Felsher is backing my play. If and when the DVD happens, we're hoping to have it be the director's cut, and you'll see the ending the way it was supposed to be for the first time ever. Well, a couple things. What I found out after I made The Monster Squad, that there was actually a TV series that was on national television called The Monster Squad that was made before my movie. And James Gunn has claimed that he has not seen this movie. And normally I would say, oh, who are you fooling? But because I had the same situation, I thought, oh, it's possible that he didn't see it. I also think the movie owes more to Cronenberg's The Fly than it does Creeps. It's kind of The Fly for the first 2/3, and then it kind of turns into that in Creeps at the end. So, God bless him. Yeah, actually that's a good question, because the character that Steve plays in this movie, and the character that Jason Lively plays, I actually created for a short film that I started shooting in 16mm, and then I wrote it. I was doing the short, and I kind of stole the characters from the short as a time travel piece. So some college students who stumbled into a time machine. I took the characters, and even dialogue, even that them walking down, I'm depressed, all that dialogue, took it, put it into Creeps, and when they were seriously considering letting me make this movie, they said, do you have any film? And I happened to have 5 minutes of this other thing, and that's the film that I showed them. So, and I've been making movies, I've been shooting Super 8 since I was 12 years old. Hey, gotta get my brother, here, have a gun. You're a spy, run that way. Can you do it again? I mean, since I was 11, 12 years old. Nobody could do that well. And I knew it when he came in. I was interested in Hal Holbrook because I liked his work in Peter Hyams' films. Lou Gulager came in, who's in Feast, if you've seen that, and has been working for many, many, many years. But Tom came in, and it was this alchemy, great acting in films like Lightning in a Bottle. And it was like, that's the guy. And, no looking back. He's fantastic. He's my favorite thing. He's my favorite thing. You have to ask him. But I think it's kind of like with James Gunn, you know, we're all of the same mind. I think we all have the same influences. Our minds work similarly, and so the work has a kind of a similarity. But there's also a bunch of really crappy scenes in that version. For some strange reason, we had to cut the theatrical version and the TV version simultaneously. The good news about that is that when you're swearing, remember you did ADR, you did your own ADRs, and it sounded good when you were covering up words that you were swearing. But there's a length thing with television versions, and what we found was the movie was too short, so they said add scenes that you cut out, and the reason that you cut scenes out is that they blow. Okay? So when you put them back in, blowage occurs. So the ending is the only thing in the TV version that belongs in the movie. The other scenes, one in particular, which I on purpose shot poorly. The girls making cookies. Do you ever hear about this?
You shot a lot of scenes of girls that didn't make it. The other thing I just want to say is that after, like, we wrapped the film in about, I guess it was 3-4 weeks later, came back to do some ADR, and Fred said to me, look, I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut a lot of your scenes out of the film because they're so good. You're stealing the movie, and when you die, people care so much about you that it kind of just ends the movie right there, and nobody would want to even stay to watch the end. Is what you told me. That's the first time I heard that